person, if you see the difference, there is everything is common in both. You can't differentiate if you see the body. But only one thing that is missing, and that is a liveliness. There is in that body there is no liveliness. It's everything is gone. In a person who is living, it's a energy. So this is the energy I am talking about. This is the energy we are discussing about, and this is the energy which is called the Kundalini energy. It resides in our body, and it have some small fluctuations in that, depend upon what is your mental condition. But normally what happen, it goes on for whole life. And for a whole life, you don't need more. Even if you want to live your normal life, you don't require to increase, or you don't require to awaken it. You don't require. Why? The reason is, even if you don't have that, you don't awaken it, you can live your life without any hassle. But at that time, there are two differences that comes up. As per the yoga system, what they say is mind. This is mind, and this is your energy, which we call prana energy, right? Normally, when the prana energies are at 10%, but which can maintain our body for a whole life, 10% only, and remaining is 90% is a control of mind. So mind says positive things, negative things, good things, bad things, good feeling, good emotions, bad emotions, whatever it is, everything comes up and it covers a 90%. And that's why we are feeling a sadness in our body. We are not feeling happiness. The reason is because mind is there to create a unhappiness. Naturally it is meant for that. So what our yoga system says, that don't worry about mind. Mind is there and it will work like the same whatever you do. It is its structure. It will never change. But what you can do, you can increase the energy. If you increase the energy, right now what happens, like mind is thinking something and then it creates a negative impression, and it creates a pain, it creates a temporary joy or whatever. So this whole thing is happening. But when you increase the prana energy, automatically it covers up from 10% to 20%, 30%. Technically it reduces the control of mind on your body. Mind is meant to create a unhappiness, negative thoughts, pain. But when you talk about prana energy, it increases. When it increases, it reduces the control of our mind, and that will create a happiness. And that's why we need to increase. I'm talking about the normal life, forget about spirituality. I'm just saying that if you live happily, see, pain is there in everyone's life. No one can say that, okay, once I do this, nothing will be there in my life, there is no pain in my life, I will be very happy. It is not possible. There are the pains, there are the incidents where you feel sad, and there are the incidents you feel happy. That's fine. But feeling happy and sad, that's a different thing. And feeling a separation of yourself, enjoyment, whatever will be the condition, there is a different thing. So here I am talking about increasing the prana energy. To do so, all the cultures, I see number of cultures, I try to read number of cultures, and in all the cultures, what they are focusing on, they want to increase the prana energy. Anyway, even in our Indian yoga system, not yoga system, in Indian cultural system, they believe that what you have to do. See, this Kundalini and everything, we cannot explain to everyone, and everyone will not accept it. So our ancient masters, what they had done, they had placed all these things in a normal life. Normal life means what? When you wake up, you have to do puja, you have to do some rituals, you have to chant mantra, you have to sit in front of the idols of God, you have to do something, you have to do sandhya. Sandhya is a method, Samuel, where you have to do certain procedures, and they believe that you have to do in morning and you have to do it in evening. So when you do sandhya, you are doing the same, you are increasing the energy. When you go in church, And when they pray God, any way, any mean, you are increasing energy. Whatever you do, whatever spiritual practices you do, whatever religion it is, we don't care. But there are the bases, and the base is that it increases the prana energy, and it will take you to the higher stage. I just take an example of one person. Just he came before a few days to me, or number of persons who have the same experience. They were chanting from number of years for specific God, and after chanting for a long period of time, suddenly they feel that the energy, that the heat in the body is increasing. He is feeling so vibrating in the body. There are a number of different experiences that he is getting. Why? Because any mean, if you do any type of spiritual practice, whether you believe it or not, it affects prana energy. It affects. There is no way. Even if I am saying I don't believe what you are saying, I don't believe in prana energy and everything, but yes, I am gonna chant one mantra, perfect. If you are doing that, whatever you are believing, that's fine. But when you chant a mantra, a positive energy will be generated, and that will affect your prana energy. That will affect your kundalini energy. So whether you believe it or not, but if you are doing any type of spiritual practices, yes, you are trying to awakening kundalini. If you don't want to do that, there are some person who comes to me and they says, okay, I don't believe in all these things. Let me explain you one small, like one saint. They came before few years to me, not me actually, to my father. He came here, he came to meet my father, and he told me and my father that, okay, I am a saint in specific area from specific religion, not religion, but sampradaya, sect, right? Specific sect, and I am chanting mantras, and I am doing these rituals and everything for a whole day. And just let me tell you, I don't believe in kundalini, I don't believe in chakra system and everything. I don't believe in. So now my question is, when I do rituals, suddenly I found something like my stomach is getting very hot, or my Agna chakra here at the center of my part, it start fluctuating. It creates a vibrations over there. I feel very high vibrations, my body starts shivering. What is this? I don't believe in all these things. So can you stop it? Yeah, we can stop it. If you want, we can stop it. But then there is one rule, one simple and common rule. And the rule is that you never ever think about God, whatever sect you are, but you don't have to think about God. You don't have to worship Him. If you worship by mistake even, this lock will unlock again. He says, but I am not believing, so why it's happening with me? If I believe something, that's different thing, but I don't believe in, so it should not be there. And he says, no, it's not good, it's very bad. And he just left. He don't want to understand that, see, this is a system. If you drive a car, an engine will become heat, like that. It will be warm. There is no options. Okay, so this is what I am talking about. This is the base of spiritual system. Forget about religion, forget about any sect. I am just saying this is a not religious, this is a spiritual system where whenever you do any type of spiritual practices, it will awaken your energy, prana, it increases the atoms of prana, and it will increase number of prana atoms, and finally it will lead to a kundalini energy, and then suddenly it will blow up. Now how it blew up, let me explain you. Let's say there is a water. What is the maximum temperature we can get in the water? It's 100. 100. You cannot increase it. If it is 100, automatically everything is like it start boiling, and it will create vapors, and it goes out. Yeah. So Now, what is the maximum temperature? Again, 100%, like 100 Celsius, right? So when you make it at 100 Celsius, automatically it will start working. Same way, Kundalini have some temperature, not actually temperature, but it requires some energy temperature. Let me say like this: energy temperature. This energy temperature that will awaken the Kundalini. If you are doing some spiritual practice from last 40 years, and because of that spiritual practices, Kundalini temperature, you achieve the Kundalini temperature, automatically it will go up. It will start rising. I don't know what happens over here in Canada, but in India, if you see number of peoples, they are in a spiritual ceremony, and suddenly they just start shouting, and they just start jumping, and they just start creating like different noises, and you cannot control them. They just start doing like this, and you cannot control it. I don't know. It happens over here, Samuel? No, right?
I know some people move a lot. They move a lot, but I don't see the kriyas.
Kriyas, right?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. Might be. I don't know about it, but in India it happens. Like when there are some spiritual ceremony,
Yeah.
people just start moving. Even they are normal like me.
Yeah.
Me and my friend goes there, and suddenly my friend start jumping, and I say, "What he's doing?"
Yeah.
After all these practices, after all this thing, when he cooled down, I asked him that, okay, what happened?
Especially in Navratri.
In Navratri, right?
Yeah.
And especially in Navratri and special
Yeah.
ceremonies. He says, I don't know. Suddenly I'm sitting like normal person, and suddenly something happened, and I just start blowing my head. I cannot control my body. Oh, that means there is a ghost in your body. 100%. It's my belief, right? But the real system is that when the energy have a temperature, when the water have a 100 centigrade temperature, automatically it will start boiling, it will start evaporizing. Same way when we are talking about Kundalini, when it have a temperature, it start moving out. And when it starts moving out, depending upon the situation of a person, he might have that type of kriyas, different kriyas, or he might not. We don't know about it, but yes, these things are happening. So the thing is that my base is, when you do any type of spiritual practices, Kundalini, directly or indirectly, it goes towards the awakening state. But we don't know. It might take a 40 years, it might take a 50 years, or it might take a 3, 4, 5 births. We don't know. We have a limited life. Let's say in today's life, Canadian life expectancy is somewhere around 86. So in our 86 years of life, if we work hard and try to awaken the Kundalini for, let's say, 40 to 50 years, then I have left over 26 years. But if you see my age, I will be somewhere around 60 or 65 or 70. So what happened? Then after I will tell you, okay, now sit for a meditation at least for 2 hours. Do all these kriyas, pranayams and everything. You will say, oh, I will tired up. I cannot do that. My body is not supporting me. So, and even then after that, the time is very less. And that's why this Kundalini awakening initiation was founded by Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna, it's believed like Lord Krishna had given Shaktipat to Arjun, and Arjun had given Shaktipat to all other his disciples. And this is a Guru Shishya process where you are not talking about anything which is on paper, which you cannot write on paper, but it is transformation of the energy, knowledge, which is possible through only experience. So this method is founded by Lord Krishna, and that's why we believe that Lord Krishna is considered as our the prime and the basic guru, and then we follow all the instruction what is saying. Normally in our this process, what happened, it is called Virat method. Virat means giant method. What happened, like normally I had observed all the people who had taken Shaktipat, who were doing meditation, even here in India, they have one common experience most of the time. In this, when you are sitting in meditation, at some of the stage, people have experience when they sit in meditation, their body becomes giant. They feel that, oh, I am becoming so big, 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 like a whole world.
Like Virat Swarup.
Like Virat Swarup, I become so big. This is a method of Lord Krishna, that's why it's moving in like this. There is another method of Shaktipat, which is called Ved Vyas method, where the method is exactly opposite to that. What it says, you are here, now you are becoming smaller, 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 so small that you absorb in the universe and you become the whole universe. This is the second method. So our method is a Lord Krishna method, and these are the number of experiences that people have. Now I had explained you that what is the system, how it works. What I will do, when we sit in meditation, I will create a room atmosphere, room environment in such a way that it will be ready for Kundalini awakening initiation. And then after that, everyone bring a rose flower, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what I will do, I will take a rose flower, I will put it on your hand, and I will give you external energy from myself. The Guru gives the energy to the disciple, and it goes towards the place where the Kundalini is residing. So I am unlocking the door over there. Once it is unlocked, I suggest the energy to move towards upwards for your spiritual progress, and during that time it will go towards this spinal cord, which is called the Sushumna Nadi. Third Nadi, there are three Nadi system. One is the left, which is called the Ida, the right, that is called the Pingala, and the center one, which is called the Sushumna. When energy wake up, let's say, when the energy wake up, there are three routes for the energy. It goes toward your left system, it goes here, take a round from here, go towards the right one, which is called the Pingala one, and then suddenly enter into the Sushumna one. Same way, it have a different option. It goes towards the Pingala one, it goes towards the Ida, and then suddenly it will go towards the Sushumna. And the last one, which is it goes towards the Sushumna.
So there is no specific way, like that can go anywhere. Like
No, that's what I'm saying. Like there are three ways. In general, when it happens automatically, there are three ways. When it goes towards the Ida, the left portion, most of the people have experience of very coldness. Even the temperature is 40. He's sitting in the sunlight and still he feels so cold in the body. Or during the time of meditation, he feels so coldness in the body. Because the Ida system is working right now. Once it cleans up, it will goes over here, and again it will cleanse up a Pingala, and then it will goes to the Sushumna, and it will cleanse up the Sushumna. So the root is like this, or the root is like this, and the third root is this. So first thing, in both roots, it takes a long time, and the efforts are higher. So the good stable situation is if your Kundalini awakens and it goes towards a Sushumna Nadi. So during the Shaktipat, first thing I will awaken the Kundalini, and the second one, that awakened Kundalini will be requested to go through the Sushumna Nadi, so that when it goes through here, your Ida and Pingala automatically get clear. When people going through the Pingala Nadi, I have there are a number of experiences people have, but very famous experience. Have you heard about Gnaneshwar?
yeah, that's
You have read about Gnaneshwar?
Yeah.
Okay, there is one Indian saint whose name is Gnaneshwar, and when he was meditating by himself, he was doing meditation, his body was become so warm, so like it creates a temperature in such a way that his sister put a roti, bread,
yeah.
okay, that on his back, and the dough is on his back, and suddenly the roti becomes it just so it's eatable, right? So this type of heat generated in the body, and the reason is because it goes towards the Pingala Nadi. Even the second experience is Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Ramakrishna Paramahansa was doing meditation, was doing all the practices, and his Kundalini got awakened, and when it got awakened, it goes towards Pingala system. When it goes through the Pingala system, he have a too much heat in the body. What he do? He want to control it, right? He's saying, I am not able to manage it. What I have to do? So he taken out, like he just dig out some 8 by 8 hole in the earth, and then put the water and buttermilk and something like this, some mud, created some mud, and that's just he goes over there and sit into there for a whole day. When someone comes, like he's a priest, right? He's a priest in the temple. So someone comes and I want to meet Ramakrishna Paramhans, then they will say, okay, just go there. He's sitting over there. He will not come out. You have to go there, talk with him. He will not come out. Just stay there. So you have a question, you can ask the questions and you can go, but he will be there for a whole day. The reason is because he has so much heat in the body. So my concern is, if you are in the normal life, you are living a normal life, like in a normal, you can say, routine life. You are not a priest, or you are not a saint, or where you can totally devote your full time over there. It's not possible. So in that case, yes, you have to maintain it. And to maintain, this is the best way your Kundalini should awaken through the Sushumna Nadi, and that is what the procedure is. So until and unless all the movements are done and the Kundalini awaken and it start moving towards Sushumna Nadi, my work is over. I will stop working on you once it is done. Now it's your work to go ahead. You have to do meditation, you have to do all the practices, and you have to go ahead. Now this is what a structure, what happens, that's what I'm explaining you right now. And one more thing, it is very important for you people to understand. When you sit in meditation, it might be possible that you are going in a deep meditation. And your expectation should be like this. Okay, when I do meditation, I was in a deep meditation. I generally goes into deep meditation. So when sit in Shaktipat, this is an energy level workshop, right? So I should be going in a very deep meditation. What do you mean by meditation? So just clarify the concept. What you mean by the meditation? Meditation means general. I'm just talking about the general people, what people believes. Meditation means when they close your eyes and they just sit in meditation. They're just gone. They're suddenly gone, and after half hour, after 1 hour, they just come back and they say, yes, this is good. This is a right meditation. Yes, this is right meditation. That's perfect. But if you want to become unconscious, it's better to take pills. Take a pill, become unconscious for a half hour, 1 hour, whatever you want to, and then come back. Meditation is not to become unconscious, it's to become a conscious one. Initially, when you start your meditation, it might happen that you lost. You don't know what's happening, and after half an hour you are coming back, that's fine. But when you go ahead in the meditation, it creates a awareness. It creates the awareness means you know that what is going on towards you. You are not losing yourself. You are there during the time of meditation, even for half hour, 1 hour, 5 hours. You are there, you can see everything, you can feel everything. Still you are in meditation, because meditation is not about going and lost yourself. It is about creating awareness. Creating awareness in such a way that even if you are aware, your mind is not able to work on your body. Mind is there, but it is not possible to control it. So my concern is, when you sit in for a meditation, when you sit in for a Shaktipat, you might assume that okay, you will be going in a deep meditation, but believe me, there are two portions, which is the first portion, which is called a deep meditation, and the second portion, which is called the over consciousness situation. Over consciousness situation means you are fully aware of everything. What is happening over here, you can listen everything, you can see everything, not see because you are closing your eyes, but you can feel everything, and still you are in meditation. So many times it happens that people who just lost themselves, they just go in deep meditation, it's over. But if you are not in that situation, you are in the second situation where you have to sit in for a meditation and you can feel everything. Your mind will keep you saying, okay, it's not meditation, why you are sitting like this? Open up your eyes. Don't do that. Just open your eyes. So, no. Even at that time, I believe you have to do one thing. You have to close your eyes, don't move your body. Whatever your mind says, that's perfect. It says it's not a meditation, you are not in meditation, forget about it. It's like, let's say, I'm putting a milk in one bowl, and I'm putting a 1 teaspoon of curd into that. Now tell me, is it a curd or it is a milk? It's milk, but it is now converting into the curd. At the time when I'm putting a curd into that, same minute, same second, transformation started. But you can't see it. You can say, oh, it's milk. Even you move it, oh, it's milk. Even after 2 hours, it's milk. But as time goes, a transformation is already there. Whether you believe it or not, whether you know it or not, but the transformation is started, and at the end, automatically after a few hours, it becomes a curd. Same way, when the energy movements are there, whether you feel it or not feeling, but the thing is, the movements will start. When the movements will start, it creates a transformation. So, to follow and to support the transformation, you don't have to move your body. If it happens automatically, let it be. If something happens and you start doing different kriyas, that's fine. But if you find that, okay, I'm not in, you are feeling fully aware situation, you are in a fully over awareness situation, still you don't have to open your eyes, you have to close your eye, don't move your body till the time I say wake up Om sound. Till that time you don't have to move your body. If you move your body, what happens, that is what I'm telling you. If you move your body, automatically the energy, the Kundalini energy which we are talking about, for which we are sitting here, it will start going down. It will say, okay, no, I can't. The reason is because the more you control, mind control, because you are moving your body. Why? Because the control of mind is very high. It says, no, just move your hand, move your hand. Why you are sitting like this, like foolish man? Don't do that. So you are moving your hand. That means the energy goes down. This is an energy, or this is a movement where the maximum clarification, maximum purification might occur. But if you are moving your body, it will goes down. Let's say, I'm just giving a simple example. There is one round I will create on that board. In between that, there is a center point. I have a gun on my hand, and I'm just shooting it from here like this. And when I'm shooting over here, my hand just shake like this, like this. You can't see that. Even you are sitting over there, you can't see that, okay, my hand shake up. But what happened? When I fire, my target is center, but rather than center, it will go towards somewhere else, like 10 feet, not 10 feet, 1 feet or 10 inches up from the target. That means movement of even not an inch from my hand creates a difference of feet, 10 feet, 2 feet, whatever it is. So the difference is very small. Same way you are doing in meditation, you are sitting in meditation over here. If you move your body, if you take control, automatically the shaking is there, and if shaking is there, then your spiritual progress and your enlightenment and your we can say it's meeting with the God, that will be delayed in same proportion. Here only, even not a 1 inch, there are 2 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet. So this is how it works. So that's why I'm just keep telling, once you sit in meditation, once we do all this kriyas and everything, I will give you a Shaktipat. Once I am done with that, I will move out, because I have to clean myself. So I will go out from here, and I will come back before we have to close, like we have to wake up from the meditation. But till that time, you don't have to move your body. If it happens automatically, the kriyas are happening, don't worry about it. But till that time, you don't have to move your body. It's very important. If you move, I'm not saying the Kundalini will not. The Kundalini will, it's once it is done, once I am there, the Kundalini will awaken. But the energy, the force, the cleansing, the purification that we require, it will not happen. Or it will be reduced very in very high percentage. So it's believed when you sit in for a Shaktipat, your 70%, 75% of your spiritual practices is over and only 25% is left over. But if you move your body, if you're moving your hand, opening eyes, in that case now that 70% will go down to the 60%, 50%, and remaining will be your efforts. Earlier it was 25, now it's 50, and it will go down, down and down. So again,
this will give only one time Shaktipat?
yes, it's possible to give only one time Shaktipat.
Let's
So-
say if some time doesn't happen or nothing happens,
Right.
so then you can give another.
No, there is no need.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. See, transformation is started.
Acha.
It's not necessary that you feel the vibrations right now. It might happen, it might not. If it happen, even that's fine. If don't happen, if there are no kriyas, no experience, even that's fine. But the transformation gets started. You feel when you start doing meditation afterwards, you feel the vibrations are increasing day by day, day by day, day by day. And that movement is there. So there is no need to give a second Shaktipat, because once it is done, it is done. You don't have to do it again and again and again. Okay? So this is a general thing I am talking about as per the spiritual things, or as per spiritual life you can consider. It is one of the important incidents, like many incidents in our life. Let's say it will change your life. You are not married and you are going to be married. This is a one day event, right? It is a one day event. But this one day event will change your life, your behavior, your way of living, everything, even in just single one day.
What behavior meaning?
Earlier you were thinking about yourself only. Now you have to think for at least 2%. For married people, married and unmarried. Right. એ બધા ફૂલ મને જ આપી દેજો. એક થાળીમાં મને આપી દેજો. So this is very important incident in our life, only one day incident, but your whole life is now different. Earlier, before marriage, you can come home around 2 p.m. at like 2 a.m. at night, 3 a.m. at night. You can just live with your friends and everything. But now you're married. You are there at home around 7 p.m. And when someone calls up, oh no, I can't come. My wife will.
Meaning meditation માટે.
ના એટલે શું થાય છે કે જ્યારે તમે જીવનમાં ઘણા પ્રસંગો એવા બનતો કે સડન ચેન્જ આવે, તમારી આખી લાઈફ સિસ્ટમ જ બદલી નાખે. એ જ રીતે જે કુંડલીની શક્તિ જાગૃત થાય ને ત્યારે એ એટલું ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ પ્રસંગ છે. આપણે લગ્નને કેમ સેલિબ્રેટ કરીએ છીએ? કારણ કે આપણને ખબર છે કે આ એટલો ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ પ્રસંગ છે. એ જ રીતે કુંડલીની જાગૃત થવી, શક્તિપાત નહીં, કુંડલીની જાગૃત થવી એ એટલું ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ પ્રસંગ છે કે જે તમારા પ્રાણના વાઇબ્રેશન્સને આખા ફેરવી નાખશે. જે એના પ્રપોર્શન છે ને, પ્રપોર્શન ઇટ વિલ બી ઓન અ હાયર સ્ટેજ. The energy normally it's floating, but now it will be on a higher stage. As you sit in meditation every day, it will go up and up. And again, for common for all one, when you're done with the meditation today or any of the days in your life, you have to take a milk. Don't forget to take a milk. If you say, I don't want to take a milk, I can't take a milk, I will say, don't sit in meditation, don't take Shaktipat, don't do anything. When you are ready with the acceptance of milk, yes, you are good to go.